Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we will be looking at what happened in court with Dan McMeekin, because a lot is happening with the John George case at the moment, and apparently it didn't go very well for Dan in court. So if you didn't know, Dan and Michael Maly had to attend court to make a statement about what happened to John George. Dan turned up, but was kicked out of the courtroom, and Michael Maly didn't turn up until after Dan had gone. So let's see what happened in the courtroom.
So there was me, the translator, the two lawyers standing up, and the girl behind the desk, right? This was not in the courtroom. This was like in, how would you say, like
Like an office.
like an ICT room in school.
Yes, okay.
That's what it was like. But there was other people sitting around, so everybody could hear each other's conversations, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Right? So nothing was private. So then I says that I don't have an abogado, which is Spanish for lawyer solicitor. And I says, don't worry, we will get you one sorted. And I says, who are these two people here? And they go, oh, they're just lawyers. And I says, well, are they lawyers for me? And says, no. So here's me, so what are they doing here? Like here, listening to my personal details. And then I started asking about Michael Maly. Here's me, is he coming? Because it says on the paperwork that he is to come.
Yeah.
And she goes, what paperwork? And it was a sheet of paper that had more or less that told me to turn up today. It was only one piece of paper, that was it.
Yeah.
The summons. And can you hear me okay? Yeah?
Yeah, hey, fine.
Okay. And so then I found out that they were Michael Maly's solicitors.
Yeah.
So I sort of maybe might have says quite loudly, you're representing a murderer
What?
or someone involved in the murder of John George. They were my exact words. So that went on for a few minutes, and then they called the judge. The judge was just sitting in a normal.
So Dan says that Michael Maly's lawyers were listening to everything he was saying, but Michael wasn't there. And he goes on to say that they are representing a murderer. We know that Dan didn't want to do an interview with Haley, and now he's doing one. So they must have spoke to each other and sorted their issues out. It seems like Michael's lawyers are listening to everything, and they want to know what Dan has to say, because it will probably get reported back to Michael. This obviously puts Dan in danger, and Dan doesn't even have a lawyer, so he needs help. Otherwise, he might end up getting the blame for this.
Yeah, so
Right.
I have told everyone, so yeah, he was trying to ask for Michael Maly's statement because Michael Maly already has one.
Right, so I did not refuse to sign my statement. I says, Molly, I says, of course I'm going to sign it.
Yeah.
But why does he get my statement, but I don't get his? Which I could not understand. So the judge comes out, and they're all speaking in Spanish and shouting, and the translator's trying to translate, and she sort of seemed that she was more on the Spanish side. So I says, what is this, a Spanish conversation, or Irish not allowed involved in this one?
So Michael has Dan's statement, and Dan isn't allowed to see Michael's statement. This doesn't look very good, and because Dan hasn't got a lawyer, things aren't going very well for him. We know that Michael is a dangerous man, so him being able to see Dan's statement puts Dan in danger because we know that Dan has said that Michael is a murderer, or at least involved in the murder, and something could happen to Dan, seeing as he is a witness. Dan knows what happened, and now he is finally telling everyone what really happened. People will want to shut him up.
I'm not saying no lies here whatsoever. That's why I want you to confirm
Yeah.
what I'm saying, Haley. I told you earlier on I wasn't gonna come on and do a live or do this with you, didn't I?
Yeah, I thought it was a bad idea earlier, but obviously today it is kind of, people do need to know that you tried, because
The Spanish government is corrupt,
yeah,
big time. They are corrupt. They literally, some fella came and went and signed my statement,
yeah,
called Gardarsville, and got Gardarsville to drag me out of the courthouse. While they're dragging me out of the courthouse, I'm shouting, "Yous are all corrupt. Gardarsville is all corrupt, and the only thing yous are good at is covering up their bodies."
yes, you did.
Yeah.
Yeah,
This part is what I don't get. Dan says to the people in the courtroom and the Guardia Civil that they are all corrupt and that some random guy signed his statement, which he was meant to sign, and dragged him out the courtroom. This doesn't make much sense to me, because if someone else has signed his statement, what does that mean? Does that mean that it isn't usable anymore because it hasn't got Dan's signature on it? If Dan is saying that they are all corrupt, and then people get away with the murder of John George, it shows that it's all a big mess, and how can the Spanish police and government be trusted?
Which might have been out of, which, I don't know, should have said or she might not have said, but it was said.
it was.
So it was, right? People don't understand. I didn't have them, but try my best. For weeks and weeks, I have told the truth. Just the public do not know that, okay? That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Right? It's going no further than that.
Yeah. Okay.
But I turned up to my court date. Any other court date I have, I'm not running, I am not hiding. I never have run, I never have hid. I've always stayed in the same spot, you know? So after I got out of the courthouse, I went.
Another thing I want to talk about is the fact that Haley was on call to someone while Dan was in court. Haley did say in one of her videos that she heard everything that happened in the courtroom because she was on call and was listening to what was going on. How did Haley even get in that position? I know that you have to get permission from the court to be on call. How did Haley get permission? And is it easy, or did she have to go through a long process? Because it surprised me that Haley was allowed to listen to everything that happened. She has backed Dan up, and apparently Dan is telling the truth and is trying to get justice for John George as well. But now that Michael knows exactly what Dan has been saying, his life is in danger, and he clearly isn't being protected by the Spanish police. So we have to hope that nothing happens to Dan, and he gets the truth out there, and the people who are responsible for what happened to John George are arrested and sentenced for their roles in the murder. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe, and we will update you as we find out more.